Welcome back to another episode of Big Movie Mouth Off. We are here back at our home. You know, it's good to be home.
Feels good.
Yeah, Bruvy Cinema Pub. Be sure to check him out, Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm Jimmy Martin with KUTV. You can find me every Saturday and Sunday morning on KUTV. If you want to wake up there early, watch KUTV.com.
Yeah.
And you're back.
I'm back. Jeff Counts, frequent contributor to the show, friend of Jimmy's, man about town. You're going to have a lot of space to fill right here.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So, Big Movie Mouth Off can be found on Xfinity Channel 6, also on the on-demand system. It's Utah On Demand, movies and film. Big Movie Mouth Off, right there. Young and old. So this episode we're gonna change this up a little bit.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a few things in this thing. We're gonna kick it off with Inherent Vice. Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, Josh Brolin. Let's take a look.
That you, Shasta?
Thinks he's hallucinating.
No, just new package, I guess.
I need your help, Doc.
You know, I have an office now. That's like a day job and everything.
I looked at the phone book. I almost went over there. Then I thought better for everyone if this looks like a secret rendezvous.
So, somebody keeping a close eye?
Just spent an hour on surface streets trying to make it look good.
This film, let's take a trip back to the 1970s and how much drugs, LSD, acid.
Are you sure you want to use the word trip?
Yeah, right. Look at him.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like, you know, I know you've read a Thomas Pynchon novel.
We should say this up front because you and I are approaching this from two different places. I've read not only this book, but most of his books.
Sure.
And you're coming to it not as a fan of his books. So.
Well, no, I'm not a fan, just never read it.
Right. Well,
I only read pop-up books.
Yeah, not an unfan. You just haven't developed a fanship yet.
Sure.
Yeah. So we are approaching it from two different directions.
Yeah. So the story is, I mean, as minimal as we can make this, because there's so much going on.
Oh my goodness.
Joaquin Phoenix plays Doc. He's a PI.
Right.
He's been hired to find a millionaire who's disappeared, played by Eric Roberts.
Right.
Amongst other things.
Oh yeah.
And so, you know, and then, you know, we always say wackiness ensues.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens in this film. You know, jumping into it performance-wise. I mean, I'm not sure if Joaquin Phoenix was stoned the entire time. I think he might have been. Or he's really good at playing high.
He does so much with facial expressions in this movie. I mean, little subtle moments all throughout the film.
Sure.
It's really impressive. And if he's totally method, then he was burning the whole time.
Yeah.
Because it sure looked like it.
But even the physicality of this performance, you know, it took me back to like Buster Keaton days.
Yeah.
It took me back to Charlie Chaplin days.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so much funny, like, you know, people just knocking him out left and right, you know.
There's a little bit of silliness in that way. And I don't mean silly as a negative. It's just, he really does have to throw himself around. It's a very physical role.
There's, you know, with that going on, more to the story-wise to get away from the acting, because we'll go back to the acting, I promise. There's so much going on, and you said that, you know, you were surprised that Thomas Pynchon novel was being adapted because there is so much going on in those novels. There's so many characters, and I like this movie and I hate it all for the same reason.
Yeah.
Not hate it like in a really negative tone.
Right.
It's just I was sitting there and I'm paying attention, going, I don't know what's going on.
I was sitting there thinking, I can't imagine not having read this book and trying to follow this movie because it's pretty complex. And you're right, I was surprised that anyone tried to make a Pynchon book into a movie.
Yeah.
There's no Gravity's Rainbow movie for a reason. You just can't do it.
Someone will try.
Someone will probably try. Someone probably already has and failed. But this one, I think, was the closest to scriptable as any of them, and it's still really hard to keep track of.
It's a wild trip.
It is.
And I use the word trip.
Yeah.
Very rightfully so.
Yeah.
Going back to the acting.
Yeah.
Because even though I liked Joaquin Phoenix, who I like more in this film is Josh Brolin.
Definitely.
That dude, wow. You know, he plays the butch cop so well, and again in this one he plays what they call him Bigfoot, and like and you were saying that all these characters have the weirdest names.
Oh, everybody's name in a Thomas Pynchon novel, if you haven't read one, is a Bond villain name.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's that way through all of the books. So I smiled every time somebody got introduced because it's one of the great parts of it.
So yeah, he plays Bigfoot. He's the cop who keeps busting Doc's balls.
Right.
And he does an amazing job at it. And I hope not only does he get nominated, well, he should get nominated because I still have my winner pick for Best Supporting Actor. J.K. Simmons,
Yeah.
but he should at least get nominated for this one because he is fantastic in it as a ball buster.
Yeah, he's great. I think all of the cast is great. Martin Short has an amazingly great cameo in it, and there's every part in the book is important to the story. So obviously P.T. Anderson took that seriously, and he made sure to cast really great people in every role, no matter whether they were on screen for 1 minute or 20.
Yeah.
Everybody's rock solid.
All right.
And I think that's necessary to pull this off too.
It's a wild ride. I'd say check it out. I'm giving it 3 stars.
Yeah, I'm giving it 3.5. I love the way he nails tone, and I think he's this movie has what for me Most Violent Year didn't.
Yeah.
It's not just a period piece. There's a real story going on.
Sure.
So I'm going to go 3.5.
3.5, 3 stars for Inherent Vice. Coming up next, we'll be talking about Liam Neeson's going to get back on that phone. At least we hope he does. In Taken 3. Killing some bad guys.
Yeah.
Coming up next. Welcome back to another episode of Big Movie Mouth Off. We're still here at Movie Cinema Pub. Good old buddy Jeff Counts right here.
Yep.
I'm Jimmy Martin. So we talked about Inherent Vice.
Yep.
Moving forward, Taken 3. Liam Neeson is back. Cannot catch a break with him and his family, apparently. But let's take a look.
Probably the last time you'll hear the number 3 in this review.
Dawson. By now I'm sure you know who I am. You know what I'm capable of.
I am beginning to. Let me ask you something just so I'm clear. CIA operative, Division 6, Division 7, what?
All you have to know is I'm innocent. If you give me 2 days, I can prove it. I can find out who did it.
You may very well be innocent, Mr. Mills, but that's the court's job to decide. It's not mine. My job is to bring you in and let the law take its course. That's it.
Good luck.
So the story has nothing to do with the first one. First one, daughter was kidnapped. Second one, he was kidnapped as well as his wife. This one, this time around, his wife is murdered. He's blamed for the murder. I saw this already when it was called The Fugitive, and it starred Harrison Ford.
I fully expected Forrest Whitaker to say we're going to check every outhouse, hen house, whorehouse, and I was really disappointed.
I said before it even started, I said if Liam Neeson gets into a viaduct and says, "I didn't kill my wife," and like jumps out, I'm going to be like, stand up, I don't care.
I hope you in the audience notice, though, that the story Jimmy is starting to tell you doesn't involve anyone being taken.
I've seen people argue it. Her life was taken. Shut up.
Are you serious?
Shut up. That's almost as bad as when we talked about Horrible Bosses.
Yes,
they're like, it's
exactly.
You're stretching it very thin.
Exactly.
So that's
you
the
have
story.
to explain it with that much effort.
Her life was taken.
Yeah.
So, the story is that his wife was killed. He's blamed for the murder.
Yeah.
And so this is where I start taking offense to it. He's found at the murder scene, weapon in hand, or I think he put the weapon down at this point, but he touched it, so his fingerprints are all over it. Cops come in. They were called on. We heard a woman screaming.
Yeah.
We're responding to a 911 call, right? From a neighbor.
Yeah. They're not corrupt. They're not bad guys.
They're not bad. They didn't set him up.
Right.
He proceeds to beat the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Nonstop. And then does an entire rampage through LA.
Rampage.
They don't show him murder cops, but you have to think that when you throw a cop out of a car doing about 80 down the highway.
It's a career-ending injury, at least.
Probably. I hope he's got workers' comp.
Yeah, at least. And there's several broken jaws, at least 3 crushed larynxes. I mean,
the dude beats up a college campus security guard.
Yeah, what's that guy doing except trying to protect college kids from people like him?
Right. Probably, he probably got a really crappy life. Like maybe he just got divorced and like kids hate him. He's like, God, at least I've got a good job. And then just like chopped to the throat. He's like, what the hell?
Chopped to the throat, face into the wall.
Yeah,
you're done.
And then he's like, what was that about? Like, well, he said he didn't kill his wife. You're like, I don't care. That guy's a dick.
This is a way better story that we're telling right now than the movie actually is.
I want the story.
The story needs to be about
the security guard
he beats up.
Yeah.
The honest, hardworking people that just get beat up by this jerk.
Like a mockumentary. Just like, I was minding my own business. I got a call to respond to a lady screaming, and then a guy ripped out my eye.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's important to mention the word jerk, too, because this is the first time. Full disclosure, I didn't see Taken 2. You said it didn't matter. This
one doesn't even connect.
But in Taken 1, you were rooting for him the whole time. He's a jerk in this movie.
Because he's killing, drug traffickers, sex traffickers, murderers.
And
you root for that.
Yeah, exactly. people not from the normal sort of middle America work-a-day life that we all understand.
So, terrible acting, stupid plot, twists that you saw coming a mile away. And then my only thing that I laughed really hard at is, spoiler alert, it's all settled at the end. And he goes to Forrest Whitaker, are we good here? And he's like, yeah, we're good. And I'm like, you destroyed half of LA.
Half of LA.
And you blew up like a plane, and you blew up a parking garage. Yeah, we're good. We're totally fine.
We're good here. Don't leave town.
Yeah, half my forest is crippled because of you, but you didn't kill your wife. Way to go.
There's nothing fun about this. There's nothing to like. It was a slog for 2 hours.
I give it 1 star.
Because
there was one good part.
You were very clear with me when I came on the episode today that I had a total of 4 stars to spend on the whole show.
No, that's not
I gave 3.5 to Inherent Vice, so this is getting 1/2 of a star.
Half of a star. Well, there you have it.
It's terrible.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for Taken 3. And coming up next, we're going to have another friend of ours come on the show, talking about our top 5 of 2014. Coming up next, stay tuned. Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off. Well, look at you. You're a new guest. Introduce yourself.
I've been on here before.
Well, not on this episode.
Oh, okay. I'm Shannon Barnson from the Geek Show podcast.
Good to have you back.
Former worst Utah.
That is true.
Yeah.
I think you're the best Utah now.
Stop it.
Oh, okay.
All right. I love TV's Jimmy Martin.
So, we reviewed Inherent Vice and Taken 3, but now you're here because we're going to talk about our top 5 of 2014.
Yeah.
Do you want to start off with your 5 real fast, and we're going to fly through them?
Now you said 5, right?
5.
Okay, so I won't.
As I hold up 10.
Okay, I won't talk about Snowpiercer because I didn't want to fight with you anyway.
Don't do it.
All right. Well, yeah, this is hard, man. Trying to put together 5, but I think the hardest one to choose is the last one, right? Because you got to put off something else that was just as good.
Yeah.
So, but I went. My number 5 is Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Gosh, just for so many reasons. One, I can't believe I loved a movie so much that had no dialogue in it for the first.
It's all sign language.
Yeah, like 15 minutes.
Yeah, at least 15, 20 minutes. Yeah.
And it was just amazing. The other thing I thought was just super cool about this movie was I forgot that I was watching special effects.
It's true. It's very true. This is the first time I ever thought like a motion cap actor could be nominated for something.
Right.
So, in Andy Serkis, you got my vote if he gets up there.
Right. I'm kind of dumb. I was like, wow, whoever the acting teacher was for these monkeys was amazing. Really did some good work.
He must be in Barnum and Bailey.
Right?
My 5th spot easily has to go to Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. Like,
Okay.
It's one of those films where, and there was a lot of films this year that were like running almost 3 hours long.
Right.
And as a critic, you get nervous as hell. You're like, oh God, you better be good. And that movie flew for me. But it was not only just engaging, but it also, we don't get a lot of movies, at least sci-fi movies, where it's almost just more about space travel than, like I've said before, superheroes and laser beams and time travel like that. No, it's just this is what space travel could be like.
My number 4, Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, granted, I'm a nerd. Well, I got a total nerd. But man, that movie was not what I expected. Like, I love the first Captain America movie, and it's a period piece.
Yep.
Right? It's like let's go forward, and this movie feels like it could have been from the 70s, like a political thriller.
I think
from the 70s.
The addition of Robert Redford even sealed that deal.
Right.
Yeah.
And Captain America is such a badass in this movie.
Yeah. But that's what Marvel does. I mean, they keep upping their game. And, for mine, on the next one, and I'm glad you mentioned Marvel, my number 4 is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. That was something else. That was just, I've heard people say, like, I haven't felt that way since Star Wars, and not even to make that much of a comparison, but, I mean, this is a film where, you mentioned like a 70s conspiracy thriller for Cap. I mean, this was a film where everybody's like, you're going to do a talking raccoon in a tree? Okay, sure.
Well, it's one of my favorite Marvel properties.
Yep.
And the late Jeff Weiss, we loved the series by Abnett and Lanning that this movie was mostly based on.
Yeah.
Right? And even when they announced they were making a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, we're like,
what are you doing?
What? Huh? Right? Like, there's a talking raccoon in a tree. You know that, right?
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. And we just thought this is the one, right?
Yeah.
This is the one where Marvel fails.
Yep.
Nope.
I keep liking that people are saying that. They're like now we're saying Ant-Man. Like Ant-Man's that could be the one.
You mean Ant-Man?
Ant-Man.
Yeah.
All right, number 3 on your list.
Number 3. This one really surprised me.
Okay.
If you would have told me that in any year in the last decade that I would have a top 5 and number 3 would include a Tom Cruise movie, I would have called you a liar.
I disagree, though. He makes really good movies. He just likes to jump on couches.
Well, I don't know. So, Edge of Tomorrow.
It's good.
I think that movie got robbed.
Oh, it
I
did?
think that movie got robbed.
Started with the title.
Edge of Tomorrow, or if you're looking for it at Redbox, it's Live, Die, Repeat. Edge of Tomorrow. Right?
They knew they screwed up with the name, you know.
I mean, it does. The title sounds like a soap opera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
On the
something
edge of tomorrow.
today. Will Lance find his evil twin? Right?
Will he wake up in the hospital bed?
Right. So the title was terrible. I think that, like me, a lot of people have a weird opinion of Tom Cruise because he's nuts. But God, this
Good actor, though.
Right. And now, yeah. Well, I agree again. First of all, like when he starts out all cocky and stuff. This is the old Tom Cruise I remember from like Risky Business and stuff, right? And then just the, you would think like the repeated going back into the same day and going to the same battle would get boring. But it just got cooler and cooler. And it was funny.
Yep.
He was funny, right?
I'll say, speaking of Vice, he had the best name for this movie, which was Groundhog D-Day.
Right? If you haven't seen this movie, see it. Buy it. I implore you. It's a good movie. I made somebody watch it a couple weeks ago, and they're like,
Good.
"Oh,
It's like
that was
paying it
really
forward.
good." Yeah.
Like, now you show somebody this movie.
Yeah.
All right, 3 on my list. I think it's on your list as well. Gone Girl.
Now, it was going to be on my list. And I was
it's
gonna,
on your list? That was like
now
6?
see, I was going to change that with Cap.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But now you can talk about it a little bit.
Okay, cool.
You know, directed by David Fincher. Great film. Just to fly through it real quick, because I actually don't want to ruin too much, because I don't think the secret's out still.
I think it's one of the biggest stories in movies this year.
Yeah.
It has still not been spoiled.
And I'm not going to spoil it here.
Right.
I will say Ben Affleck's fantastic, and Rosamund Pike needs to win Best Actress at the Oscars.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm saying, because
There's not a lot you can say.
No, I'm not going to say it. So let's just go to the next one. But go see Gone Girl.
And I'll just say it'll blow your mind. And if you've ever been in a bad relationship, it's going to scare you and go, "Oh, I remember that."
All right. So number 2 on your list.
Number 2. Let me pull out my little thing here. Well, for me, it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay. Well, we talked about it. You want to throw in one more little tidbit?
I would just say it was nice to go to a movie that was just fun.
Yeah.
Now, if you sit and really think about the movie, there's not a lot to this. There's not a lot of story to get in the way of the plot.
It's more character introduction than anything. But
Yeah, so, you know, and I've read all the things complaining about the villain or whatever. I don't care.
Okay, they have a dance-off.
Yeah, it made me laugh. It's the first movie I've seen in the theater more than once. I think I saw it 4 times.
Nice.
In the theater, and then I've watched it twice on Blu-ray since it came out.
Nice.
And I've loved Rocket Raccoon since I was 9 years old.
Number 2 on my list was The Imitation Game. This is Benedict Cumberbatch playing Alan Turing. You know, the guy who basically solved the Nazi code with the device called Enigma.
And sort of invented computers in a way, right?
Essentially, yeah. They'd say he pretty much developed the first computer to solve this code. Fantastic. You know, really good. He'll get nominated. If he doesn't, I'll be pissed. But really good story. A story that needed to come out because it hasn't been around. I mean, the story itself was top secret till almost a few years ago. It's relatively a new story. So the fact that this guy's heroic tale is being told is fantastic. So him, and even Keira Knightley doesn't piss me off in this one.
Oh, really? Because I know you.
It's a coin flip.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn it. It's going to be Pirates of the Caribbean 3, you know.
Yeah.
So no, Imitation Game. But number 1, and I know you agree with this one, so we'll give it the love it deserves, Birdman.
Wow. Yeah, Birdman.
This film is, on every account, phenomenal. From, you know, a film that looks like one shot.
Right. I mean, and it's weird. Like I remember sitting there watching it, and like you start to feel, it makes us feel weird.
Michael Keaton's fantastic in it. This is a role that, I mean, obviously based on the character himself,
right,
was developed for Michael Keaton. It is weird. but that doesn't mean bad.
Well,
It's just different.
This is the way I put it. When I walked out there, it's like I feel like I just feel like I watched somebody else's dream.
Yeah.
Like you were in a dream. It's like it's got that kind of otherworldly feeling. But man, the performances. I mean, and just the caliber of actors that are in it.
Yeah. And Edward Norton.
Edward Norton.
Who can be a coin flip.
Right. And I kind of think he was playing a version of himself.
Yep.
Zach Galifianakis was amazing in it.
Yep. From the acting to just the filmmaking process to just making, I always get excited when someone does something new with filmmaking,
Yeah.
That's why, to me, Birdman's the #1 film of 2014.
Well, and wholly original in a time where, let's admit, we don't get a lot of truly original stuff. This thing was truly original, well made, and I just kept looking at the craft involved of it.
Yeah.
From not only the filmmaking but the acting. That had to be so hard to make sure, because it turns out it's not one actual shot.
No, they did a lot of trick photography, but
But they would still have to work really hard to get right back where they could pick it up from that.
It was
moment.
a dance. It was almost a dance routine.
Right, and these guys, boy, how many lines of dialogue did they have to realize,
I heard
memorize?
On your average, it's about 1 to 2 pages, and they were doing about 8 to 9.
Right.
That's what I heard, yeah.
So, and as someone who's
Fantastic.
been in plays and stuff, that's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, there you go.
go see it.
Birdman, 2014 Best Film of the Year. 2015, so many films coming up that I'm excited for. I'm sure you're excited for.
Oh, no.
No, not Star Wars or Ant-Man or anything like that.
There's a Star Wars movie coming
There's
out?
Star Wars coming out.
Oh,
We'll talk about it in 12 months.
I heard there's an Avengers movie maybe too.
That might be one of those too. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Big Movie Mouth Off, and we will catch you next time.